Welcome to Grisora Live. We are focusing this week on gratitude. We are here to help small business owners like you transition from being stuck in a cage that holds you hostage, doesn't pay you enough money, and takes all your time to giving you wings of freedom that allow you to have a business that runs even if you're not there. And gratitude is one of the critical steps that so many small business owners forget is a critical piece to that success formula. Brett, do you have any thoughts you want to share immediately on that?
Yeah, I mean, continuing on what we talked about from last week, the stories that we tell ourselves, gratitude can be an integral part of that. To see every everything that we enjoy, the sky, any kind of beauty, to be grateful for that, but also to be grateful for our setbacks and challenges, and
Yeah.
see them as learning opportunities and real blessings, as opposed to um, obstacles that are negative, because truly we can't grow and become the people that we need to without the challenge. I mean, I don't know of any bodybuilder that's been able to achieve a strong physique without resistance of some kind,
Right.
without that challenge to overcome. And so to be grateful for everything, no matter what it is, and show gratitude in all things is absolutely critical to uh, achieving everything that we could.
Absolutely. And a few years ago we were having a conversation around gratitude, and what you said totally pushed me back a few years before to where I was in this room with an attorney, and he was just talking, nothing business wise, just life. Wildly successful guy, had built business and been successful monetarily and in his family and all these different areas. And he was saying, I always hit the red lights. And I'd never seen him so passionate about anything. He's like, I hate it. I always hit the red lights. Always. I was like, wait a minute, how could someone be that successful and yet have a mental like breakdown over the fact that they sometimes, but in their mind they told themselves the story, they always hit the red lights. And he was torqued about it. He's like, I'm always the first car there, which means I have to wait longer than everyone else, and it's not fair. And I thought that is such an incredible thing, that this person had that mindset. And the reason it was so incredible is because of what you told me. I don't know if do you remember what you told me about traffic lights all those years ago and how you had reframed them when you hit the red light?
Yeah,
And
probably
how
something that I've read,
it
that
was
they're
that
gratitude lights.
they were exactly, it was that they weren't red lights, they were gratitude lights. And so for me, I was like, oh man, I wish I could have gone back in time, be like, hey dude, let me give you an idea. Since you always tell hit red lights, like that's even physically possible for him to always. It was just that story he told himself. But had I known what you told me a few years later, back then, I could have shared that with him and totally changed his mindset in life, and probably he would have been even more successful and happy.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like when I'm driving on my own, I don't hit that many red lights, but anytime I'm driving around with my wife, it's like every single stoplight we have to stop at every single one, and so I do have that story. But yeah, when they turn into gratitude lights, it's not such it's a different experience when you take the opportunity. It's like, okay, I'm at a red light. What am I grateful for?
And I'm pretty sure you purposely hit those red just so you can spend a few more moments with your wife, and that's what it really is, right?
Yeah, that's probably what it is. And again, that is a different framing for the blessing. It's just like more time together.
Yeah.
So,
So how does this really relate to a business though?
well, how does it not? Because one of my peeves, we'll call it, is that people try and create this big separation between life and business.
Hmm.
But as entrepreneurs, there is no separation. Business is life. Like, it's all one and the same. I mean, there are seasons and things related to it, but this work-life balance that people talk about, like, I don't even know what that is. Like, it's just life balance.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like life is up here and work is clear over here. Like, they're the same thing.
Hmm.
And it's about creating the life that we want, which should include work. Work is ennobling. Work is a place for growth. And aside from being a parent, I don't know of any way to grow more into my potential than being a business owner. Like it is the best academy outside of family for personal growth and development. And the more I grow and develop, the more I'm able to serve my community and those around me. And um, that is something to truly be grateful for. Additionally, um, we talked last week about the reticular activating system,
Mhm.
that which is nothing more than the filter for what we notice among all of the different inputs that come to us. Again, we use the example of a when you buy a car, you all of a sudden notice that type of car much more often on the road, even though it hasn't changed.
Mhm.
And so, cultivating a mindset of gratitude and training your brain to see what to be grateful for also helps you see opportunities to move forward, as opposed to focusing on the negative will do nothing more than help you remain stuck where you're at and not allow you to see possibilities. Gratitude is a huge unlock for growth.
Absolutely. And I think for me personally, I have that mindset shift where I can run into a problem. Maybe someone doesn't buy from me that I was expecting, or maybe they buy a lot less than I was expecting, or something like that happens. And the ungrateful mindset is going to say start telling all those stories of, oh, it always happens to me this way, this is terrible, it's not fair, why this, why that. But the gratitude side says, you know what, even though they didn't buy, I had a great opportunity to go and connect with this person. I practiced my sales pitch maybe. I was able to experiment on some things. What did I learn from this? How did I grow as a person because of this experience? And how can I turn this seemingly negative into something that's positive? So gratitude flips everything like that on its head in a very real way, but it requires, like you're saying, activating that part of our brain, the reticulating activating system. We have to put that into play to where we're saying, no, don't let that negative side in. And if it comes in, make sure you give it that nice left turn right out the back door again and say, instead of that, what can we be grateful for about a situation that isn't ideal?
Yeah, and not only does it help with your ability to lead your life and build the life and business that you want, but it also makes you someone that people prefer to be around. And we all
100%.
know that it's v maybe AI will completely change this, but, I don't see it happening yet to where you can build a great business without great people around you. And I much prefer to be around people who are grateful than those who are always negative.
Yeah. I had
And
an
the same is gonna be
opportunity.
true for all your employees.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to partner up with a business owner. And at the time, my company was just a fledgling little company. We only had a handful of customers. He had thousands thousands and thousands of customers on the books paying him every month, and he was going to be retiring in just a few years. And so had I partnered up, there's a good chance I could have just absorbed his company and really gone rocket ship launching my own business. But what every time I interacted with him, it was negative. I never heard him say more than I think three positive things the whole time I interacted with him, and that was over the course of several meetings. And I realized I can't absorb that much toxic without me becoming toxic as well to everyone around me. And I couldn't afford it. The cost of becoming toxic was far greater than the benefit of me absorbing thousands of his customers.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big things is how important it is to protect our and cultivate a mindset that serves us. Again, last week we talked about it in the context of the stories that we tell ourselves. That those stories, they need to be stories that serve us if we really want to accomplish something impactful in our communities.
Yeah.
And without that, it doesn't. Another big thing is I see so many small business owners that are just miserable on
Right.
a on a day-to-day basis, and they have this mindset that they're going to be happy when, and then you could list whatever those things are that they have to achieve. But as inevitably happens, and I know this because I've lived this myself, when I achieve whatever I said I need to achieve to be happy, I move my own goalpost
Hmm.
and say I'll be happy when, and I can never. never get there with that type of mentality. Whereas being grateful and cultivating an attitude of gratitude is something that allows me to be happy. And you choose happiness. And when you
Mhm.
choose happiness, then success follows. It's not the other way around. And
Yeah.
there's a ton of research that shows that empirically, but that's something that you can just live and know anecdotally, that when you choose happiness first, then all the good things follow. And so there is no, I mean, and whether you need to do a gratitude journaling or whatever tactics you may need to implement to start to cultivate that attitude of gratitude or being more grateful, start using them, because when you have more gratitude, it's you can have more happiness. And when you have more happiness, you will begin to attract more of the things that you really want, as opposed to being negative and repelling them.
Yeah. Yeah, negative people attract negativity. Misery loves company. Gratitude and grateful people attract grateful people around them, and it's amazing, like, you it's almost like you're turning a light on, and you turn a little bit of gratitude on in your life, and it starts shining brighter, and then it's so much easier to just keep turning that dial up and up and up until you're in this beautiful, bright place, and all those negative people distance themselves from you because they don't want or don't know how or refuse to really bask in that light and happiness that comes from gratitude.
Yeah, I've remember hearing years and years ago that some of the best things in life are those that you get more of it the more you give away.
Mm,
And so when you share gratitude with others, you get more gratitude back. It
yeah,
doesn't diminish. Um, and those are the things that are for building a life that you want to live. Like, you be learning to give away those things that multiply themselves when they're given away, as opposed to shrink when you give it away. That's I think a critical aspect.
100%. Yeah. So I'm curious because it's easy when someone's starting out to be grateful for the things that are naturally positive. Oh man, I'm so grateful that I had a great day today. I'm so grateful that I'm able to walk, or I'm able to run, or I had a good night's sleep, or but how do people cultivate, and what are your thoughts around the gratitude for the seemingly negative? How do you do that? How does somebody really dive in and transform those?
You know, there are seasons of life of where things that happen that are outside of your control that you may need to take special effort to cultivate and maintain gratitude. I have a good friend who at one point owned um, over 50 different franchise locations for a particular franchise.
Wow.
And because of because he had a falling out with the CEO, the franchisor, um, the franchisor went after him and tried to and changed rules in their franchise contract to try and force him out of business. And
Whoa.
it was a long, long fight for 5 years, where he was still able to run the restaurants, but he was also having them big legal battles anyway. One of those situations where you can imagine he would be feeling a huge amount of stress, and he was. Um, but he I asked him, so, like, "How did you cope with all of that?" Um, and he he said he had particular practices that he would do. One things he would ride his bike. Like, when the stress would get really high, he would just let the energy out by riding his road bike, for an hour or 2 every day if he needed it. Um, he he took the effort to actually gratitude journal, and he made sure that he continued to serve those around him.
Mhm.
Um, and all of those things helped him during that very trying time to maintain um, a positive attitude. And at the end of the 5 years, experience that he had, he immediately rolled right back into building a life that was better than he had before.
Wow.
He's got he's got more franchises again now, um, and everything that and a better life than what he imagined he would have had. So yes, the 5 years was a very challenging time, but he's very grateful that it kicked him off the path that he was on and put him on a much better path.
Yeah. 100%. There was a quote I heard earlier this year. I was at a conference and Trent Shelton was speaking there, and he said that challenges are the wrapping that God gives you, that you have to unwrap those in order to get to the present or the gift or the good thing that he has inside. And then he also said that if God led me to it, God's going to lead me through it. And so if we can look at these seemingly negative things from that perspective, like your friend where he's like, I have to work through it and it's very painful, we acknowledge that, but if we can look through it and say, okay, even if this terrible thing's happening, I know that on the other side, I'm going to improve who I am. All these challenges make me stronger, like you were saying with the bodybuilders. All of the challenges will make you stronger. They're going to be something that you can use as a springboard for good, both in the now, but also in the future. And then it gives you experiences where you can actually reach out to those other people who are struggling, who are having a hard time, and helping them recognize they're not alone. Because oftentimes when you're going through those battles in life, the loneliness is very trying. So if you've been through it, you now have an opportunity to reach out and lift others as well. So there's so many points, even on the worst things, that you can be grateful for because it gives you new opportunities you'd never have if you didn't go through the trial.
Yeah, well, I may call something out that happened between us where I don't know that if you're in business for very long, eventually there's going to be some kind of legal trouble,
Mm,
um, even if it's even if it's completely frivolous, which in most my experience, most of the time it is.
yep.
It doesn't mean the stress is any less, especially when it's your very, very first time experiencing it.
Yes.
After after you've been through 1 or 2, legal situations, you come to realize that they're not a big deal,
Mhm.
and not nearly as big a deal as your mind tells you they are at the beginning, and, so I don't know if you could speak on how I was able to help you by just telling you to chill out, and it really doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, yeah, I had someone who was probably certifiably insane at that moment in their life, and the attorney that I went to because of my situation, he had been a very high power, high level attorney that worked in Silicon Valley for a number of years in litigation, and this person was an interesting the person attacking me was a very interesting person, but I was so new, and it was such a new experience for me that I had no basis, and so I was scared to death because the self-preservation mechanism was so strong for me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be attacked, what's going on, I've never seen this before. And the attorney came to me and said, this guy's a piece of work, but what you said was, don't worry about it. I promise you, he will not actually sue you. And even if he does, it won't go anywhere because he has no legal standing. And with your experience, I think at that time you had been reading some books on law and how all those pieces work and the limits that people actually have. But when a person like myself is going through it in that moment, all you see is potentially worst case scenario because you're looking to defend and protect yourself versus
Mm.
what is real. And so I was telling myself a whole bunch of stories that had no basis in reality, but in my own brain, I could see if I took this step, this step, this step, this step, and 20 steps later, I could get there. But now, and it was a terrifying moment, but you did tell me several times, several different things in that vein, and it helped me to be able to recognize, well, here's someone on the outside that sees all the facts, and he's telling me it's not real. It's all a perception. So I was able, one, had to have gratitude for that, but now I'm extremely grateful for that person. I'll call him Psycho McGee. I'm grateful for Psycho McGee because Psycho McGee gave me so much more experience, and I've been able to now take that as well and help other people who are going through similar things to say, hey, here's my Psycho McGee story. Every business owner almost has one. I had someone that told me early, I hadn't even graduated college yet, and they said, as soon as you start getting a little bit ahead, people will look at you and they'll think it's not fair, and they'll say internally, they'll start to get jealous and they'll look at ways to attack you, and they'll try and either take it from you or they'll try and put you down for what you went out and accomplished. And I think that each one of us having that opportunity to recognize that's going to happen gives us a little bit of armor we can put on and say, well, I can be grateful even in these hard circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah, and to notice also that, one thing I've been able to recognize is that people that that play at a high level, they they don't put anybody down.
Mm,
Like, they understand because they've been through it themselves, and they're nothing, at least in my experience, nothing but supportive and motivating to those who are going through their own challenges because they've been through them on their own. And as you said, that is something to be grateful for because it's it's I think it's rare for anybody to achieve any level of greatness without having gone through a great deal of struggle, and seeing the struggle as something to be grateful for can help us lean into that pain. It can help us run up the hill. It can help us do those things that we otherwise would not be willing to do.
yeah.
And so the power of gratitude can carry us to places that we could never go without it.
100%. Yeah, at this point, what I try and tell myself is when I see something that I'm viewing as a struggle or a trial or a challenge,
Well, um, okay. I don't know if I am still live or not, but looks like we're having some connection issues. You
there we go.
back?
I'm back.
Or was I gone? I don't even know.
Or maybe we're both gone.
Maybe we were both gone. Okay. Well, you were telling a story, but as I saw it freeze up in the mid time in the middle of it. So
How far did we get?
just right at the beginning.
Oh, what did I say? Oh, you weren't even
Uh,
listening.
I wasn't even listening. There was nothing to hear.
I see how it is. Well,
You were just
I'm
going
I'm
into it.
grateful you figured out how to smile and nod when I'm talking, even when you don't listen. Thank you for
Oh, you're
supporting me.
welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, I think I was just saying that for me, I've discovered that when I'm going through trials, hard times, difficulties, I'm able to tell myself that's part of the price I have to pay for the good I want to do in the world or for what I'm trying to accomplish in that moment. And when I frame it that way, even when my body's telling me, hey, it's a threat, it's a problem, you have to overcome it, which a business owner, our job is literally to go out and solve problems all day, every day. So we're literally putting ourselves in the space of negative issues potentially. So there's a good chance that if you're not cautious and cognizant of this, your brain's going to go into that. Oh my goodness, all there is problems. Well, until you can flip out of it and recognize, no, I think these aren't problems. These are opportunities. I solved these, and it just moves me along that path. So there's an opportunity for gratitude in that moment as well.
And one thing I have learned with that, just exactly what you're talking about, is it's important to express it.
Mhm.
So so that it is one thing that I've had to learn myself and I've struggled with is because when working with others to solve problems, um, they they lay their own mindset on me.
Mm,
And even if I'm coming at a at an issue with, I don't care about blaming. I don't. I just let's. I don't care about. I don't look at it as a negative. This is an opportunity for us to have a breakthrough and create something new and better. I have that mentality, but others may not know it. And if they're um, not as mature in gratitude as I am, they can interpret my actions as being more negative than what I'm intending them to be.
right.
And I've worked on a number of issues both within my own companies and with clients, to where I'd have to step back and frame the context that this is an opportunity. Um,
Mhm.
yes, it's a challenge, but we're going to get a breakthrough from however it is we determined to solve this issue, and it's going to end up being a real positive thing for us. I have to step back and frame that at the beginning, so that then as we really get to work on the issue, it can be done in a positive way. And if I notice them start to turn more negative or think that I'm being more negative than I am, I can refer back to that context framing at the
Mhm.
beginning, so that we can all look at it with excitement and gratitude for the opportunity to create something new and better.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard a guy speaking and it's really stuck with me. This is probably 12 years ago now. He said that if we're at this level, if happy and gratitude and all those good emotions are up here, and we're at this level and we're communicating, and he was talking particularly about email at the time. He said, and negative is down here. If we're at this level, you're going to move down 3 notches, and that's what everyone perceives you actually at. So it's important when we're trying to communicate with people. Humans actually have that assumption that things are going to be worse when they're interacting with others, because part of us look for the negative naturally to protect ourselves. And so it's important to level those up and to call it out and to be very clear. You may feel it on the inside, but it's important to share it out to the outside, because if you're not sharing it deliberately, like you're saying, we're going to frame it at the very beginning of the conversation to make sure people are getting it. If we don't do that, they don't think we're here, they'll think we're down here.
Yeah, and whether you and for me, because it doesn't come as naturally to me to express it, I have to do that special framing at the beginning. Though
Mm,
I've noticed other people who it does seem to be more natural to, they don't have to do that initial framing, because they're able to maintain that obvious attitude of gratitude throughout the situation. And so
interesting.
you got to find out what works for you, with your own skills and personality, and that can change over time. But the important thing is that you maintain that gratefulness throughout any any situation, because it will allow everyone that you're working with to play in possibility. We are much more creative with what we consider to be positive emotions and with negative emotions.
Mm,
Negative emotions close off our thinking,
yeah,
whereas the positive emotions allow us to think more expansively, and we look at opportunities. We can look long term, and therefore make much better plans, and come up with much better solutions than we could without.
definitely. Yeah, I know that ideas and creativity flow a lot more when a person's relaxed than when they're super stressed and fearful.
Yeah, yeah. And so the invitation for those that we're speaking to is, if you need a gratitude journal, if you realize that you could have more gratitude in your life, or any of the tactics, whether it's gratitude or gratitude lights, every red light, um, whatever you need to do to bring more gratitude into your life, so that you can really experience the benefits of it. Um, from a religious context, we talked about counting blessings. I mean, there's few things that are more, when you feel the negativity coming on, there's few things more powerful than counting your blessings to help you transition to an attitude of gratitude, and to bring that to all aspects of your life, not just this week, but throughout the rest of this year, and all next year. Level up the gratitude that you have, and you will watch the world change around you in response, to give you more of what you're looking for, and allow you to have more of the impact that you want as you expand your gratitude.
Excellent. What a powerful way to end. So everyone, thank you for listening, and we look forward to you tuning again in next week, same time, same place.
Thanks, Jason.